Yo, what's up, jazz guitarist? Larry Tamanini here. You just heard me playing through Clifford Brown composition Joy Spring. And I was playing this song, trying to spell out the changes, not using big chords, trying to play simple, trying to develop some ideas, using, two-note chords essentially to sort of punctuate my ideas. This is an exercise I like to do with tunes called the spelling contest, or the spelling bee, or spelling bebop. And that's basically you taking a tune and you're playing it unaccompanied. We have the gig simulator here where you have backing tracks and you have Drum Genius and Band in the Box. And it's really easy right now to get stuff behind you. But ultimately, don't you want to be able to play by yourself? I don't want anybody needing to babysit me to play through tunes. One of the toughest things you can do as a jazz guitar player, any guitar player, is to play unaccompanied. I would hear horn players play solo. There's a pretty famous Sonny Rollins solo where solo album where he plays time, he plays not time, he plays all kinds of saxophone, and it's just a horn. And it doesn't really get boring, at least to me, because he's so great at developing ideas. That's something that I really like to do on the guitar, is just to be able to play simple ideas and to be able to play a song by myself without having to play a bunch of chords. So let's just talk about some tips on what you can do to get this in your bag, because it's one of the toughest things you can do as a guitar player. Number one, you got to have really good form awareness. When I was starting out, I could play the guitar and I could play scales and I could play parts of tunes, but I hadn't had the form in my head yet. I have I've been blessed with, if I read something, it'll stick in my brain. You can ask me anything, like random sports stats. I don't know why I still remember Willie McGee hit a 353 in 1985 to win a batting title. I don't know why I still remember that. It's in there, though, because, like I said, I have a very good visual memory. And I think a common misconception some guitar players make, and I know I made, was I was trying to play guitar from more of a visual aspect versus playing sound, using your ear and playing sound aurally. So check it out. The first thing that I did, if I'm trying to play by myself, I'm going to give myself a bar to play. I'm not going to start right on one. That was another big mistake that I was making. You're starting right off the block trying to play. Doesn't work like that. You need to give yourself, a couple of practice swings, pun intended, to get your stuff going. So what I ended up doing is playing sort of real simple idea that I know I'm going to repeat. When I'm playing this, I'm playing towards that A flat to D. Yes, of course I know how this song works, right? 1, 2, 5, 1, right? Have that 4 minor that's going to go right down to 3, 6, right? But I'm thinking about this. I really want to get there, because that's going to be the next pickup that I'm shooting for, that's going to bring me into G flat. Really easy to solo in F. Joy Spring is one of those tunes that's really simple and really tough at the same time. But what makes it difficult is that it just goes up to G flat. You can sort of play all your stuff. If you're used to playing in different keys and you play in F a lot, just move your stuff up a half step. Or you could really learn like the notes that you're going to aim for. So let's talk about that. So like I said, I played in a nice little thing to break up that phrase. Now, I'm going to aim for my third, right? There's that. There's your Grant Green lick, right? I don't know if I did that the first time, but it sounded cool. And it felt right, so I played it. That's a big part of swing. And this is a big part of like learning how to swing, when you can play through a tune like Joy Spring unaccompanied. So after I get through those first 16 bars, right, I have my bridge. And I'm sort of like wired my ideas knowing how this song moves in 8-bar phrases. And then I go from F to G flat, and now I get to this G major. But instead of moving up in half steps, now Clifford puts you in the crossover, and now you're going down in whole steps. But that's pretty cool too. There's a lot you can do. I was definitely feeling a little Grant Greeny after that, the Grant Green lick. And I really wanted to sort of keep, well, I still have some Grant in my head. Talking about JC, it's such a great line, right? I used pretty much this idea to as the motive that I wanted to get through for my bridge. You know, it kind of resolves nicely over that F major. Another misconception of when you're playing this style, a lot of single notes by yourself, that you have to fill up the space. The least comfortable you are with the form, the more your eighth notes you're going to play, because those eighth notes are sort of like the trail you're on to sort of get through the song. It's like an E.T. with the Reese's Pieces. You're just kind of like, and that's a great thing to do as well. I think you have to be able to sort of max out on eighth notes for a lot of reasons. Number one, it's going to be, eighth notes and triplets are going to be like primarily like your swing vocabulary, so they got to feel right. But you don't want to do it to death, right? Silence and playing rests are your friends. If I said, oh, whoops, right? Let's try that again. So I get through that, and I know that my first A, like in a lot of these tunes, is just going to be like my last A. So I can sort of have another idea that I'd like to play over that. Why not use the melody, right? That's the one thing we didn't talk about. So there's just the first 8 bars. Just kind of like what we're trying to do here. Spell it out nice and even and easy. There's going to be so many lines that I can use in this melody for lick purposes. A lot of lick harvest, licks ahoy. There's a ton of stuff you can use. Something that I use a lot, and maybe I need to cool out with it, is I love... Right? I kind of tried to recycle that in a couple different ways. Probably should have played those voicings in a different spot, but hey, it's jazz. trial and error. So I just use that. Even that. And then there's that Grant Green lick, right? I think this is something that everybody should have in their bag. And what I ended up doing there was, that's your ninth to your third, and then in this case, however you want to look at it, I always kind of just think of this as like a whole minor thing, where I'm playing off my ninth to my third, my sixth to my flat seven, and then you do it there, and then you kind of run it. Kind of cool when you do it back to back. Whoops. You can do a couple other cool articulations with it, but again, just looking at the melody of this song is going to give you plenty of stuff to play. So check it out, jazz guitar friends. I know I've been going on about this Joy Spring and just being able to have us spell it out and do it with any kind of bebop song. Be able to play the melody by yourself. It's just sort of like it, you know, when you're playing with a rhythm section, it's easy to swing and get through a song, especially if you're any kind of a good listener. But can you play a song by yourself? It's only going to make your band playing stronger. And it's sort of like when you go to the bowling alley and the bumpers are in the lane and you're like, yo, I bowled a 175, and then, well, you know, you take the bumpers out, you take the bass and the drums away, and you're like, oh, I'm at 47. Well, I mean, definitely got some help from the bumpers and the bass player and the rhythm section. I know that was something that I worked on. So if you're feeling really strong about your time, but you feel like maybe you can't play without a band, this is definitely something for you to do. Pick a tune. Try to spell it out. Try to play a bunch of different choruses. Try to play one at first and then try to bump it up from there. And it's only going to make yourself and your playing and your swing stronger. So, all right, jazz guitar friends, if you hung out this long, thanks so much. Don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I always appreciate the feedback. Feel free to hit me up anytime. LT Jazz Guitar. Bebop. Keep swinging.